Hello everybody, it feels completely Pete Tong to be stood here making a WTF Moments video for AEW All Out 2021. I'm going to hit you with a big claim, but I don't care because I firmly believe in what I'm about to say. That pay-per-view last night was the best wrestling pay-per-view I have seen since WrestleMania 17. I've gone for the big one. Disagree, you can suck me chebs, quite frankly. So here we go, everybody. This feels so wrong. Why can't I just sit back and enjoy the wrestling, everybody? Why can't I just be a fan and enjoy a great pay-per-view? And it's because I've got to piss in the eye of the wrestling pay-per-view equivalent of the Mona Lisa by providing you with the WTF moments from All Out 2021. We're going old school here. Intro man, hit the intro, will you? All the way back to the start of the buy-in we go and those fantastic promo packages, but unfortunately, in the midst of those fantastic promo packages, we had to hear from the human ham sandwich himself, QT Marshall. There's not even any butter, man. QT Marshall is bread, ham, bread, and a glass of water. But on the buy-in, QT Marshall claimed that all of the doubters, yes, QT Marshall, I am one of them, do not understand what it takes to get to the spot that he is in. And I'm thinking, how did he get into the spot that he is in? Ah, yes. And the real WTF moment to do with that sign that was brought to the show last night by Bees. Hello, Bees. How you doing, pal? Are you well? It's not the fact that somebody took that sign to the show last night. It's the fact it's taken so long for somebody to say that on such a big professional wrestling platform. I've said this before and I'll say it again, everybody. Of all the human beings on planet Earth, why is it that one who needs to be in all of the things all of the time? And speaking of signs, thank you very much to Jason Wilkinson for spreading the good name of Cultaholic throughout the AEW fans. Not the universe, the fans. Next time you go to an AEW show, or any professional wrestling show in general, do what he did. Now, there were so many WTF moments in that buy-in match in the best possible way, by the way. Look at that human centipede right there. Whoa! But I have to say this moment right here where Jungle Boy goes from playing chicken into doing the Matrix to Mark Quinn, then doing whatever the hell that thing is to Isaiah Cassidy, that's Tex the Jungle Biscuit. But that doesn't matter, everybody, because the positive WTF moments, they were coming at the double because the Butcher made his big return to AEW, and Rossi, very, very happy. It's Butcher and the Blade. It's Butcher and the Blade. One's a scary bastard. The other is a blade. When I grow up, I want to look like the Butcher. Now, if that t-shirt means what I think it means, then that person right there needs to get put in the bin. And Miro's face says it all. Eddie Kingston broke the game over. This is the second most monumental breaking of a finishing submission move since Bobby Lashley made the masterpiece look like a bath turd. A metaphorical turd floating in a bath. And who would have thought, everybody, with the utter unadulterated tear that Miro has been on in AEW since he became the TNT champion, who could have possibly thought that the biggest heel coming out of that first match at All Out 2021 would be referee, dirty, stinking, bald referee himself, Bryce Remsburg. Now, this isn't the first time we've had to say this in Bryce Remsburg's illustrious career so far in AEW, but Bryce, the finish of that match, pal, what the hell are you doing? And of course, we all know, Bryce, you are famous for doing all of that Invisible Man stuff, but that doesn't mean at the finish of that match last night, you actually had to become the Invisible Man. Where the hell were you, man? Kaze Nina Ray Alicious or what? But I tell you what, everybody, I just love the story that's being told with Jon Moxley in AEW at the moment. Just imagine if you had no idea about the concept of New Japan Pro Wrestling between Kojima, Nagata, Kenta's AEW debut, and now Suzuki arriving in AEW. It looks like Jon Moxley has said something ungodly or done something ungodly to the nation of Japan. And now, one by one, all of the Japanese wrestlers are coming over to make Jon Moxley pay. What's Jon Moxley done to Japan, eh? Nick Jackson is the love child of superstar Billy Graham and a Yorkshire Terrier. Who's that jumping out the sky? R-E-Y. Phoenix. I have no idea what to say about a lot of things that happened during that tag team match. Is that the match of the year so far? For my money, I think it might well be, you know. But I guess the main WTF moment has to be the fact the Young Bucks' tag team reign in AEW has come to an end after 300, I repeat 300 plus days. And I guess when you put a stipulation and the Lucha Bros in front of the Young Bucks, they become Young Cooks. C-U-C-K-S. They just poo their pants, let me tell you. They poo their pants. What am I doing here? I've got no idea what I'm doing here. But they poo their pants, so they do. They don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What's going on, man? Sky Blue, man. What an idiot. So then we see Riho on the top turnbuckle. We see Riho rolled. Rick rolled. Not Rick rolled, just a bog standard roll under the bottom rope. And then Riho has been eliminated from the Battle Royal. And in the words of Hurricane Helms, what's up with that? I can't get me voice that high. It's buggered. It would appear that Riho has been Axelmania'd, and I never thought that sentence would be a thing. But it is. So WTF? Red Bull man. What an idiot! And after initially thinking, get in there, finally Ruby Soho can prove she is the total package and do some things in terms of doing the wrestling and speaking the words in professional wrestling promos that WWE, they never allowed her to do. It's so good to see her. I then thought, what a dirty, stinking liar. As we all know, I went for Thunder Rosa in our AEW All Out 2021 predictions competition against that dirty, stinking, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe called Andrew, because the last thing Ruby Soho put on Twitter before All Out 2021, she said she was in New York. How did she get to Chicago, okay? If that is not documented on social media, the journey from New York to Chicago, in my mind, it just can't have happened. What we saw last night was a mirage. It was nice to see you, nice Ruby Soho it was, but in my opinion, I've been shafted. You've shafted me, Ruby Soho. How very dare you?
It's Jim Ross, bitch. Bah, Gouda did it again.
Yes, we all heard it so many times. I thought Jim Ross, by the way, knocked that call out of the park on last night's pay-per-view. I thought I was the best Jim Ross call in so many years. He did so well, but bless his cotton cowboy hat. He said Ruby Riott a few times, didn't he? And I'm shocked and appalled. I'm shocked and appalled, Jim Ross. Why say Ruby Riott when he could call her what she is? Ruby dirty stinking liar. You cost me that predictions, man, Ruby. Ty Conti, man. What an idiot. And his name is Rick Boo! Boo! Boo that man with the guitar. Your guitar's too loud, man, and you're going way too quick for the fans inside the arena to sing along with you, man. That's one of the cases where something is so good on paper that had the hallmarks of a classic entrance for Chris Jericho last night at the pay-per-view, but in practice, it was absolutely poop. I'm 30 years old next year. But it just leaves you asking one question, doesn't it? What had it become? Now that he betrayed the tune of the song that everybody knows, meaning it was impossible to sing along to. I tell you, guitar player, there's only one phrase to describe you, pal, and that's a Judas. You Judas bastard. And that, everybody at home watching this nonsense right now, is just how much referee Paul Turner did not want Chris Jericho to become a full-time commentator in AEW. And I don't really want to, but I've got to say it. This show is called WTF Moments. If that is happening for Chris Jericho versus MJF, why isn't it happening for every single time we see a screwy finish in the professional wrestling? What makes that match, apart from Jericho potentially becoming a full-time commentator for AEW? Oh yeah, that's what he sounds like, isn't it? It's so annoying. Maybe just a little bit less than me right now. I'm terrible. But surely what is good for the goose, in that case there, is good for the gander. The rest of the wrestling matches that happen in AEW. This is a trope, by the way, that I would send straight to hell. A new episode of which live on the Cultaholic Wrestling YouTube channel with Gangrel, who is a lovely, lovely fella. But MJF, we see him strutting, he fails to hit a top rope maneuver by God, and most importantly of all, he loses a big, important professional wrestling match while wearing the colour red and having his initials on his arse cheek. Gimmick infringement, Kane says. Don't buy the sun. And there's our little buddy Darby jumping out of a helicopter in preparation for his big match against CM Punk at AEW All Out 2021. The biggest match maybe in the last 7 years of professional wrestling. As a whole, CM Punk's comeback match, how does Darby Allin prepare? He has a match on Rampage, of course he does, why wouldn't he? And then he's jumping out of a helicopter. What's he like, eh? Direct quote from John Moxley now when he says, when Minoru, Suzuki and I are in the ring together, it's the best drug in the world. I should know. I've tried them all. Now, normally I would be stood here making that thing a WTF moment because all professional wrestlers should be role models for the kids around the world. Go and do drugs, kids. They're great. Nobody clipped that. But in this instance, I feel compelled to make that a WTF moment because what John Moxley said there has to be true. He's done all of the drugs. How can a man go to a library, right? A library where you sit down in silence, read a book in silence, stand up in silence, and go back home in silence. Go to a library, right? And do some cocaine. He did cocaine, went to a library, read a book, and went home again. Wow. Imagine doing that.
It's Jim Ross, bitch. By God, I did it again.
Yes, we're back here once again. Jim Ross in professional wrestling name controversy, despite the fact he heard so many people on that show last night say, no more BS, it's Paul Wight. Hey! He called him the Big Show. And you know what? I don't care. Jim Ross was on form last night, 2 slip-ups aside when it comes to professional wrestling names. And to be honest with you, him calling Paul Wight Big Show on All Out 2021, fair enough. That was the Big Show. The biggest of all the shows. The biggest and best I've seen since WrestleMania 17. I'm doubling down because I firmly believe. Carl Anderson was there. After last weekend and the last little bit of time in the world ever, that's a WTF moment, I reckon. And there we see 40-year-old Christian taking a one-winged angel off the middle rope. That's a one-winged angel off the middle rope. And that's, of course, after going through a table and nearly impaling himself on a sticky uppy bit, the most dangerous of all of the bits. Ooh, sticky uppy. And whatever else happened in that match, I can't remember as I'm stood here. The awesomeness was just too much to cope with it sometimes. Seriously though, it was fantastic. Himself and Edge, himself being Christian by the way, they are medical marvels. That's all I've got to say. They're WTF moments. Live and breathe in WTF moments. And then we see Adam Cole, Bebe, and the history of Adam Cole with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. It just flashed through my mind, so it did. Go back many years ago and we see Adam Cole being murdered by the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, they conspired to put some stuff in some monster. Adam Cole drank the monster and they intentionally murdered their friend Adam Cole. Adam Cole then went away to WWE, okay, and he ran one of their brands, NXT, for about 4 years or so, and now he's come back from the dead to realign with the people who conspired to murder his sorry, beautiful arse. Professional wrestling. It's just fantastic, isn't it? And yes, I'm picking up on something. I'm putting my media studies GCSE and A-star, by the way, to good use here. I like the fact that Adam Cole ignored Kenny Omega when they're all coming together and Kenny Omega was sort of left out the kiss kind of thing, wasn't he? He hasn't forgotten. Some people are telling me on Twitter that Adam Cole doesn't know that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks conspired to murder his sorry arse. But if you're telling me Adam Cole doesn't watch YouTube, you are silly. What I am trying to say here is Adam Cole is going to take the Elite down from the inside and take the title for himself from Kenny Omega. And I cannot wait. Imagine Hangman against Cole in the future. It feels weird to say, but I want it. I want it all. I want it all. And I want it now. It's like Freddie Mercury stood here right now, isn't it? And since we mentioned Hangman, I've got to make the lack of Hangman on last night's show a WTF moment because if anything, it was a good thing. No Hangman being a good thing, that's a WTF moment. For so long we're all saying All Out 2021, it has to be Omega versus Hangman, with Hangman taking the title. Finally! And if he was on the card somewhere else, would that have overshadowed Christian versus Omega? Potentially. So the lack of Hangman, a good thing, and it's a weird, sobering thought. And then we get to the very end of the pay-per-view and we're thinking, wow, AEW, they've blotted their Adam Load, baby. Spunk, what the hell am I doing with my life? But no, Bryan bloody Danielson rocks up looking like a little version of Bulk the Viking. It's one hell of a smashing look. I'm going to do it myself, you know. I can't do it. I've got the devil's curls and it's fantastic. And somehow, someway, AEW have blotted twice. Massive loads in a matter of minutes, and I'm asking how. Speaking about Edge and Christian being medical marvels, how on earth have AEW produced So much in such a short space of time. But I just love the way it was done. You're thinking, there's Adam Cole. That must be the big surprise. And you almost forget that there could be another surprise. Then the other surprise comes, and then wow. Wow. So there we go. I felt dirty and disgusting doing that video, but it had to be done, I guess. Just in the name of content. That was it for all your WTF moments from AEW All Out 2021. And I want to repeat it. The best pay-per-view I've seen for my money. Just my opinion. If you disagree, go suck me chebs. I've said that again, haven't I? Fighters. The best pay-per-view I've seen since WrestleMania 17. It was absolutely fantastic from start to finish. Apart from Paul Wight versus QT, but that was there to give you a nice little breather before picking you back up for the main event. I guess the only bad thing about the night is the fact that I lost to Andrew in our predictions competition ting, and I will be doing a punishment which will be revealed at the start of the cut down reactions, which will be live tomorrow night on this illustrious YouTube channel. You can catch the punishment, I think, on Wednesday, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it very much indeed, Andrew. You sorry son of a bitch. Anyway, I've been Ross Tweddle from Cultaholic Wrestling. Remember to check out all the content. What Happened At with Jack the Jobber, graded with Tom Campbell. You've watched this one. That's it, I think. Good on you. Best of luck to you. All the best. If you're feeling fancy, drop this video a like. If you're feeling saucy, leave a nice comment down below. And if you're feeling downright erotic, give this video a share somewhere so other people can see it. That's how we tickle the balls of the algorithm, everybody. And finally, if you're just feeling fine, drop Cultaholic Wrestling a lovely subscribe. We very much appreciate your support. But that's it for a tough wank of a WTF Moments video, but a necessary wank all the same. I've been Ross. Toodle pip.